Everybody, and this is your boy Mark and mufcFAN with the quick match review preview of Wigan in the FA Cup versus Manchester United, guys. And thank you for joining me today. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a good one, guys. And you know how it is. Smash those like buttons if you're new, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Let's get right into it, guys. You know how it goes. It's that, you know. It's the one, guys, the big one. Manchester United needs to get in to this league. They need to progress. They need to win tomorrow. And guys, smash those like buttons. And guys, it's your boy back, and we're going to bring you some team news for the Manchester United clash as they take on Wigan. Guys, what are your thoughts? Get in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. It's one of those things where I'm just going to bring you some brief information on the Manchester United game. As we see, the predicted lineups are out, and I'll go into some insights about the match. And the top 5 insights are: this is just the second FA Cup meeting between Wigan Athletic and Manchester United, with the Red Devils winning 4-0 in the 4th round in 2016-17. Manchester United have won 18 of 19 meetings with Wigan in all competitions, with the exception being a 1-0 away loss in the Premier League in April 2012. Guys, what are your thoughts? Get in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Since the start of the 2013-2014 campaign, their first relegation from the Premier League, Wigan have progressed from more FA Cup ties against Premier League opponents than any other side from outside of the top flight. Guys, 6 times they've done it. And this is very interesting key news because Manchester United is not in the best form of the season. It's one of those things where Manchester United's form, their quality, the players, the style of tactics, the manager, everything is being questioned this season. But, as a Manchester United fan, I'm going to say, you know what? It's one of those things where in a rebuild, and these things are going to be the topic of question. And as we have to move players on to change the ethos and change the energy around the club, these things will happen. So, guys, let's move on. Manchester United have been eliminated from just 2 of their last 38 FA Cup third round ties, with both defeats in that run coming in home games. 1-0 loss to Leeds in 2010 and 2-1 loss to Swansea in 2014. Wigan have won their last 5 FA Cup games played on a Monday, most recently a 1-0 win over Manchester City in February 2018. Guys, get in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. And we're going to talk about a little bit of news coming out from Wigan's manager, Sean Maloney, as he plans to ask Manchester United serious questions. The boyhood United fan has scored an upset over the club once before and is plotting to do so again in a fascinating FA Cup tie. To gauge Sean Maloney's popularity at Wigan, look no further than the patrons of the Phoenix Lounge at the DW Stadium on Friday, who spotted the manager conducting a TV interview at pitchside, stepped outside and sang his name throughout. They were attending a wake at the time, a release from the sorrow the mourners in the Phoenix and Wigan can identify with that. A club that had almost went out of business last summer and started the League One season on -8 points to have hope again. Saves from a winding up order when taken over in June by local billionaire Mike Danson. The Wigan Warriors owner, Wigan are now above the relegation zone and are rebuilding a promising young team under Maloney. The priority this season is survival, but the FA Cup has delivered an early reward for 2013 winners with a third-round tie at home to Manchester United. For Wigan's promising young manager, a boyhood United fan as well as a Celtic fan, it is an occasion to savor. Guys, let's hear from the coach I joined Celtic at 16. I started to learn about the Lisbon Lions, the history and the individual players. Then I started doing the same about Manchester United, he says. You go through an era of the late 50s, early 60s, and the story behind it is and what they achieved under Sir Matt Busby. And there was Dennis Law, Paddy Sarand, Brian McClare, and now there's Scott McTominay. There was always that link with Scotland, and I love the history of the club. That's the reason why I began to support United, and I've been really lucky to meet him a couple of times, says the former Celtic, Aston Villa, and Wigan winger. When I was still at Belgium as coach under Roberto Martinez, I went to meet him in his office in Wilmslow. I was on the train headed down to London, and his son Jason walked by. We got speaking, and I said that I would love to meet his dad. We swapped email addresses, and the very next day he sent me an email. I got in touch, and his secretary arranged for me to meet him. It was just by chance, a really fortunate, and I just sat and listened to him for 2 hours because I was such a big fan as well. I just wanted to ask him questions about the history of the club. Also, Belgium had some really elite players, still do, massive players like Haaland, De Bruyne, Courtois, company. He had lots of players at that level through Manchester United. And that was the main basis for speaking to him. Man management was a big part of it. It was incredibly gracious of him to give me 2 hours. Incredibly indeed, considering Maloney's winner for Wigan against United in April 2012 helped Manchester City to pip their local rivals to the title on the final day. That 1-0 victory remains Wigan's only success against United in 19 meetings. He didn't speak about it, no. And funny enough, I didn't bring it up, Maloney says, of the goal. You don't forget it though, do you? Guys, what are your thoughts? Get in the comments. Let me know what you are thinking about that information that I've just given you. And let's just run into some predicted lineups and team news. Guys, the DW Stadium will be playing a host to an intriguing FA Cup third round game. And the contest on Monday evening with League One outfit Wigan Athletic welcoming English giants Manchester United. Wingers famously won the FA Cup in 2012-2013, beating Manchester City in the final, while Man United have lifted the trophy on 12 occasions, with their last success in the competition coming in 2015-2016 season. The game kicks off at 8:15 p.m. And it's Wigan versus Manchester United, guys. The result left the Latics in 17th position in the table, boasting 27 points from their 25 league games this season. And they started the campaign on a -8 points due to financial issues. Sean Maloney's side, who were relegated from the Championship last season, are 4 points above the relegation zone in League One and 13 points from the playoff positions. So it's going to take some effort in the second half of the campaign to put themselves into contention for possible promotion. Wigan who have beaten Exeter City and York City in the FA Cup this season, last tackled Man United in the fourth round of this competition in January 2017, suffering a 4-0 loss to the Red Devils, and they have actually been beaten by that scoreline in three of their last four games with the 20-time English champions. The team's only victory over Manchester United was a 1-0 success at home in the Premier League in April 2012. Guys spoke about this just now. Meanwhile, Manchester United have lifted the FA Cup 12 times. Eric Ten Hag's side reached the final of last season's competition, meanwhile, losing 2-1 to Man City. And this tournament represents their only realistic chance of winning silverware in 23-24. Guys, the 20-time English champions will enter this match off the back of a 2-1 loss to Nottingham Forest in the Premier League, with the defeat proving to be their 14th in all competitions this term, and it left them down in 8th position in the table, some 9 points behind fourth placed Arsenal. Man United finished bottom of their Champions League group meanwhile, and there's no getting away from the fact that there's been very difficult a campaign this season for the club. But confirmation of the arrival of Sir Jim Ratcliffe as the minority shareholder, seemingly lifting spirits at Old Trafford. Ratcliffe visited Carrington last week, and it's understood that the staff and players were hugely impressed with the British billionaire, who will take over a football department once his arrival is ratified by the Premier League in the coming weeks. Man United will follow this match with a home game against Tottenham Hotspurs in the Premier League, and there will certainly be pressure on Ten Hag to deliver a positive result against Wigan, who will have home advantage but operate two divisions lower than the opponents. Guys, and the team sheets will see the services of Tom Pearce, Jason Curl contest for the contest through injury, while Stephen Humphreys and Scott Smith are major doubts for the home side, Wigan. There will be no James Balagizi, with his loan spell from Liverpool coming to an end ahead of the match. Josh McGuinness has scored 5 times during the 23-24 campaign and is set to lead the line, while there is also expected to be a spot in the wide area for experienced Callum McManaman. Man United will have goalkeeper Andre Onana available for this contest and potentially for the league game with Tottenham next weekend, as he will link up with Cameroon for the African Cup of Nations at the final moment. Sofiane Amrabat, though, is joining up with Morocco for the tournament and will therefore be not available for this game. Man United's injury situation will ease in January with Luke Shaw, Terrell Malacia, Lissandro Martinez, Mason Mount, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Casemiro, and Anthony Martial, all expected to return near the future, with the majority potential available against Spurs next weekend. Rasmus Højlund missed out against Forest last time due to illness, but the Denmark international is set to return to the squad for this match and is likely to lead the line. That's great news, guys, because on Friday, there were reports that Højlund was still an uncertainty. So I'm really, really glad to hear this news. Ten Hag is expected to name a strong team with Alejandro Garnacho, Marcus Rashford, and Bruno Fernandes all set to feature in advanced areas, while Scott McTominay could come back into midfield. That is the one thing I'm not really liking too much, guys, but what are your thoughts? Get in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. The possible lineup for Wigan Athletic is Tickle, Clare, Hughes, Morrison, Sessegnon, Shaw, Adiko, McManaman, Lang, Goro, and McGuinness. The Manchester United possible lineup will feature Onana, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Evans, Dalot, McTominay, Mainu, Garnacho, Fernandez, Rashford, and Højlund. Guys, we say Wigan Athletic 1-3 Manchester United. I mean, that's a prediction that's a lot of people on a lot of people's mind. In my honest opinion, Man United have been, in sort of up and down form, but we should have more quality when it comes to this game and this team in this match, guys. I hope everyone who is watching, let me know your thoughts, what you're thinking. Richard Huston, you're now coming in. What are your thoughts here? Do you go to home and away games with Manchester United? Actually, I do. I haven't been to as much games this season though because I have been stationed. I live in Germany, to be fair, so I've been spending time here doing stuff and work as well. So I haven't been to much games this season, but I will be going to games in the next few weeks, and I usually go to every home game as I share a season ticket with one of my friends. Do you have all the Manchester United shirts from 1992 to 2024? I have all but this season's kits, guy, my buddy. All of them, actually, to be fair. Yeah, I've been to Old Trafford lots of times, man. I sit in the Sir Alex Ferguson stand, R334, seat 48. Who knows if Manchester United is going to win trophies this season, Richard? To be honest, I'm a Manchester fan. I thought maybe we would probably retain the Carabao Cup, but we got knocked out. I was hoping to at least get to the knockout round of the Champions League this season because I still think that we're in a rebuild and this team it's not it yet. There's still a few players, quite a few players who a lot of fans might be have as favorites that I think need to leave this club in order to change the ethos of the team. And realistically, I think we can get to the final of the FA Cup if Manchester United play well. Manchester United has always historically been a very, very top cup team. When we go into cup competitions, we always usually go, to the quarterfinals or something like that. But it's a tough one. Wigan away, it's going to be a difficult game, as you know they have the home team advantage at DW Stadium. But I think Manchester United is going to have more than enough quality to overcome them tomorrow. I would go with the 3-1 scoreline, possibly a 4-1 to be fair. But yeah. Um, I think you have to pay attention to the fact that Manchester United, while not playing very well, are still in eighth position, their lowest position this season. I mean, we were in sixth up until 3 weeks ago, and then we lost 2 games and won one, and that dropped us down as other teams progressed forward. But you know, in the last 5 games Manchester United played, we have been more compact. We have shown more patterns of play. We have shown that we can score, we can threaten the goals, we can create lots of chances, and that we can defend well. If we can stop making defensive mistakes and be much more clinical up front, I'm definitely certain that Manchester United has, all but everything, all the quality that they need to get into top four. And with Casemiro returning as well as the Sandro Martinez, I see that the defense will be stronger and that we will have more attacking threat going forward with a stronger, more experienced midfield. You know, yeah, like when I heard that Gabriel Jesus was out for Arsenal, I was like, Arsenal already, in my opinion, they really need a striker. And to be honest, I think a lot of people are getting in on Gabriel Martinelli, but in my opinion, he's one of the best players at Arsenal because he's so unpredictable, but he's just been not been in good form this season. And Arsenal are struggling, you know what I mean? They're struggling to score goals. They scored so many goals last season. They haven't been able to score as much this season. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that their midfield is in a flux. It's in a change, just like Manchester United is. But at the same time, I think what they have is a better system in terms of their players have played the system for longer, and they know what they need to do and what they need to and where they need to be. So it's one of those things where they're more familiar. So they always create lots of chances for attackers. Manchester United, on the other hand, I would say they're in the opposite situation. They have a better striker, but they don't know the system very well, so they're still learning all the patterns and still learning where they need to be and how they need to be. So it's like more of a work in progress at Manchester United. But Arsenal, tough loss against Liverpool. I didn't expect Liverpool to beat them to nil because Liverpool's defense hasn't been great this season. And they were without Mohamed Salah, who's like their talisman. And unlike Manchester United, who has Marcus Rashford, who has just not shown up to this season, it's one of those things that shocks me that Liverpool won 2-0, to be fair. Michael Olise is a very talented winger, in my opinion, but at the same time, I would say this: he doesn't hold a candle to Mason Greenwood. I think Mason Greenwood is better with his right foot than Michael Olise is with his right or his left foot. And then Mason Greenwood still has a better left foot than Michael Olise's right foot and left foot as well. So I think I would rather see Mason Greenwood brought back to the club and started on the right. I think Anthony needs some time to come in as a substitute, get himself relaxed. He dealt with the last year full of uncertainty due to some allegations that were, prominent in the media for like about the first 5 months of the season. And it was going on 4 months prior, since March last year. So I think one of those things where, a lot of fans are getting on Anthony's back. But you have to remember, this is a young fellow, a young player, 22 years old. He's only been at the club for like for people say 18 months. He came in last September. He came in September, 2023, and it's only been so long when you play football for 9 months of a season. So you can say you've been here for so long, but at the same time, it's a brand new country to him. He's also been renting Paul Pogba's house, and I think Manchester United needs to get him to move from that residence. I think we need to burn that house down or sell it, because I think that's the plague that's blighting our season, to be honest, guys, in my opinion. Yeah, but I would take Michael Olise. Maybe I would. Some fans might hate me, but I probably would move on Facundo Palestri, and move on Marcus Rashford. And then, therefore I would open up space for Michael Olise to come in and have Greenwood as well. And Greenwood could also go through the middle because, as we know, he's a clinical striker. Which player will Manchester United join? Or I mean, FFP would not really affect a club at the size of Manchester United or Arsenal, really, because we have owners who are billionaires and they could invest £100 million of their own money. And then you also know that most signings, you don't pay the entire signing fee up front. Sometimes you pay you pay a part of it, and then you pay off the rest each by year. So I think Manchester United are strongly going to bring in Oscar Zambrano, the talented talented Ecuadorian center midfielder, 19 years old. He is dubbed as the new Moises Caicedo. I think the Man United scouting department rue the chance that they missed to sign Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo, both for the whopping fee of €8 million when they had the chance and they didn't last season and the season before. So I think they're going to force the move because Bournemouth is heavily interested. He was in advanced talks with Bournemouth up until Friday night, and then on Saturday morning, Manchester United called, and I think they're going to get this over the line. I think Manchester United will also probably get in Paulo Dybala because I think he's going to create and add something to our midfield that we are lacking. Plus, he can also play at false nine. I don't think I think we missed out on Timo Werner as he's confirmed to be going to Spurs. I also think that, we will not be getting Maxime Choupo-Moting because he's unable to be loaned due to the fact that his contract expires in May and the loan will expire in May. So based on German Bundesliga rulings, a player from the Bundesliga cannot be loaned when his contract is also expiring in the same term. So, I'm not too scared about that one. I've heard that Benzema is available. Maybe get Benzema, or maybe you could even go and see if you can get Oliver Giroud. Oliver Giroud is on a free as well. I think that might be interesting. There are lots of reports that Manchester United are after Todibo, but after seeing the emergence of Willy Kwambala, I strongly disagree. I think that we're going to cool all our interest in Todibo eventually because I think Willy Kwambala is the same height, same body size. He's 2 years younger. He's 3 years younger, and he is very, very talented. I think he just needs experience, and playing with the likes of Varane and Evans is going to give him that. I think we're going to be in for Giorgio Scalvini. It was said that Manchester United placed a 44 million bid on the player, but there was also a rumor that Atalanta increased the asking fee to 60 million euros. So I'm not too sure if that's going to happen. But for now, I'm confident that we're probably going to get Oscar Zambrano and maybe Paulo Dybala. Guys, there's also speculation that Benjamin Sesko is also on a free. Both RB Leipzig forwards, Benjamin Sesko and Timo Werner, have been sidelined due to the amazing form of Openda, who's another striker that came through their ranks this season and has been in red-hot goal-scoring form with 14 goals in 14 games. Richard Hutchinson is coming back in, and he's saying Liverpool had no Salah, no VVD, no Endo, no Sobozo, no Smikas, no Robertson, no Bacetic, no Thiago, no Matip, no Doak. Still came out with a win. Well, I don't think Endo is great. I think he's an average player that just does the basics really well. So Boslo, I think, would be a miss. No VVD. Well, I mean, that's a big miss for Liverpool. In the context of Liverpool, he's a very big player. No Salah is the hugest one for me because he is their talisman, as I would say, their goal getter, main assister. I think their missing Salah was the biggest thing. I think that would have weakened them a lot. But Liverpool showed that they could get a result. And I mean, if you look at it in context, Manchester United went to Liverpool with their full squad with a VVD, with Endo, with Soboslo, with Salah, and still we could have won that game at the end. We had the most clear-cut chances, and we came away with a 0-0 draw. At the end, we started Willy Kwambala in that game. He played next to Johnny Evans. We had Garnacho playing in that game. We had Palestri in that game. You also saw the likes of Hannibal Mejbri, Dan Gore came on in that game. And the game was started by Kobe Mainu. So, it's one of those things where Manchester United fans need to remember that we are in a rebuild, guys, and a lot of young players are going to come through. And, you have to look from the perspective of let's let's see what we can do and how we can build slowly, because next season is really where we're going to try to challenge for the league, in my opinion. I think this season is more about finding all the players who are going to stay in the squad, all the players who are going to remain Manchester United players, the ones who are going to start, and where we're gonna get, you know, the ones who, we're gonna want to keep at the club, the ones who we're gonna want to bring in to complement the ones who are already there. Which youth players could come into the team? I think you have to look at it from a perspective of United is not that team that we used to be. Yes, we are the 20-time English Premier League champions, but at the same time, in the last decade, we have not been maintaining the level, that is of a Manchester United level or standard. So I think right now, a lot of emphasis on the bad performances of the team, and questions are being asked of Eric Ten Hag's decision making and his setup of the team. But I think it's one of those things where if last season he had implemented this same style and structure in the squad, I think we would be seeing rewards this season. But we would not have finished third last season. Maybe we have got fifth or fourth, I think. And we might have been Ten Hag out last season. So I'm just saying, you know what? Give the manager some time. Let him do what he's doing. At the beginning of the season, we were dross. We were scraping by wins. We were the worst team on the pitch. But in the last 10 games, we were one of the better teams in every game, whether we win or lost. So, in my honest opinion, give the manager time. Let's see how it goes. In my opinion, I would give him another year and a half and I would remove 4 to 5 players in the starting 11 in August or in January, and I would bring in 7 players to replace them. But this, as if I was the sporting director at Manchester United. But at the same time, you know what? There are different people making those decisions, and I would employ everyone to always remember, for the last 10 years, it was those same people making the terrible decisions when it came to signings, terrible decisions when it came to extending contracts, when it came to giving these players exorbitant wages. It was these same individuals in the back room. And guess what, guys? You know who gets the blame? Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralph Ragnick, Eric Ten Hag. Guys, it's been a great presentation. Great time for me joining you. Thank you for joining me. Big up and much respect to you, Richard, for coming in hot and keeping me company in this live stream. Guys, if you are new, smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can see when I'm live again. And don't forget to, hit the like button on your way in, hit the like button on your way out. Leave a comment in the non-live section. Let me know your thoughts, your views, and your opinions, and I will gratefully reply. Hope you guys have a great morning. Enjoy your day. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been your boy, Mark N. mufcFAN, and it's been the daily update. Premier League daily update, FA Cup news for the Manchester United versus Wigan clash at DW Stadium tomorrow, 8:15 p.m. Guys, enjoy your morning. Hope you have a great day, and we out of here.